Okay, so this is the listing of my favorite horror movies. Now, on this list, there's none of the Italian horror movies included, because all those are on the Giallo Italian list. And also, there's not. The list is pretty small because most of the movies that people would consider horror, I do not. Like Hostel. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, but I really don't consider it horror. It's more entertainment, because it's not really meant to be scary, I don't think. But first off on the list is the Amityville Horror Collection, and this includes the Amityville Horror, Amityville 2: The Possession, Amityville 3D, and then a bonus disc of Amityville Confidential disc. And this is a very good set. It was only like $20 brand new, all three movies, and I always really like these movies because they seem to fit the time and they seem to really well done. So there's that. And then is An American Werewolf in London, and this is the best werewolf movie of all time. I think many people can agree on that, and mainly because there's not too many werewolf movies made, and if there are, they're not very good. So this is the collector's edition, and it's an amazing movie. Then we have The Boogans, and this is a early 80s horror movie. One of those low budget movies, but it's actually really good. And this, unfortunately, is a VHS copy because of the real DVD is not released, and I'm not sure if it ever will be. But yeah, this is if you can get a hold of this, it's really good. It's like on eBay for $40 on VHS, but I got this for like $10, so it's really good. Next is The Brotherhood of the Wolf. This is a French movie. I guess you could consider it a werewolf movie. It's just wolf. I would consider it werewolf. It's probably one of the top 5 werewolf movies, probably 2 or 3. It's very stylized. So it's a lot better than what you'd think a werewolf movie would be. It's really well made. Then we have a movie that really scared me as a kid. Not so much anymore, but I think one of the main reasons why it scared me as a kid was because you watch this and then you have to use the restroom afterwards, and where do you go? You have to go to the bathroom. And so this is Candyman, and you watch this as a kid, and right after the movie you have to use the restroom. What do? You go in there and it's all dark and there's a mirror in the bathroom. So this really frightened me, and this is the special edition with commentary and featurette, and it's a really good music, good score in it. So it's really good. Next is Creepshow. This is one of those. This is the first one, directed by George Romero. I believe there's three little shorts in it, and again, it's not too really scary, but the idea of being buried alive like Ted Danson is in this scene, that's what really scares me. It's the thought of being buried alive and all the thoughts that provoke the mind in these stories. Then the next two is the Hills Have Eyes, and then the Hills Have Eyes, the unrated version of the remake. Both of these movies are really good, and I really like the remake because first off you have the classic, the 2-disc special edition. I mean, this is a really good movie from the late 70s. It had its own visual style, its own movie. Then the remake is pretty much the same storylines, lots of the same things happening, but done differently. And it's really good. I did not see the sequel to this, and I just never got around to it. And I guess I'll always remember this because I saw this on the night of my 21st birthday. But I really like it. Next is all the Friday the 13th movies. This is this box set is the first 8 films, all widescreens, special editions of them. And these are some, again, these are not really considered horror movies, but whenever you think of horror movies, this is one of the quintessential ones that you think of. Big, a whole bunch of movies, one giant set of movies. I mean, but there's kind of 10 of them, including the Freddy vs. Jason, which is the other one. I mean, so 10 of these movies, actually 11. They make so many of these movies. No matter how many they make, I think every one of them will be good, just because of the character. Again, if somebody says Jason Voorhees, everybody knows who it is, and not many movies can do that, especially horror movies. Next is The Grudge and The Grudge 2, and I really liked both of these. I mean, with all the Japanese remakes coming out, this and a few other movies coming up on the list, I think are really well done. Even though they're PG-13, I'm kind of surprised because they're actually, I think they're pretty scary, and maybe not so much as from older folks, but the young kids especially, I think, would really get scared in these movies. So I'm kind of surprised they were made PG-13, but even though that, they're still really good and scary. Oh, and then here's the Jason X, which is Jason 10. So that that's not the best of the series, but it's still really watchable because there's good gore in it, and it's one of those movies that no matter how weird it is, it takes place in space. I mean, it's so fun to watch. Then next up is kind of a horror movie, kind of not, because you wouldn't think of it as a horror movie, but it's Jaws. And the reason why I would consider it a horror movie is because it made people scared of the ocean. And when a movie makes somebody scared, it's generally considered a horror. So it's definitely one of the top movies on the list. It's definitely rewatchable, whereas some of the other movies are not. So of course everybody's heard of Jaws. Then a movie on my top 10 movies of all time is The Lost Boys, and this is just an amazing movie. It's quintessential 80s. It has good music, lots of actors, lots of well-known names. This created careers for many of the actors and the director, and just more than 20 years after its release, they're making a sequel now, and lots of people talk about it. And this is one of those movies that I was only a few years old when it came out, but when it was released, I don't think it really did very well. But over time, VHS and then now DVDs are really kind of bringing it back, and it's really cool.